Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one and only Turbo coin. Now, I know, things have crashed a lot in the last week. If we take it from the top to the very bottom at this current moment, we are down 24%, ladies and gentlemen, right? But this should not be a surprise. This really should not be a surprise because we've been talking about this for weeks now, right? We've been talking about for weeks how Turbo has been losing momentum. And I did say that I truly did believe Turbo was already going to start selling off a little bit before during this time, early May. But then we had the crazy Ethereum and Bitcoin pump, which gave it that extra day and a half of life practically, right? And then we can see after that, it just started to kind of sell off and go sideways. The last few days have been very obvious that we are going to be crashing because there was no momentum to the upside. And we can see once we lost momentum, we have been losing momentum very heavily. Okay. Now, look, I get it. Some people, for them, this is scary. I get it. Emotions could rise, could be heavy. But ladies and gentlemen, you have to realize you've been in a worse scenario before, right? You've been in a worse position. You survived every single damn battle. Okay, you have now. If altcoin season was over, if let's say hypothetically this was the top, right? And I was saying, guys, listen, altcoin season suggests it's over. I'm out. And you kept holding your coin, I would stress for you. I really would. But the thing is, altcoin season hasn't even started, which we're going to talk about a little bit today. Even though, yes, I did mention it in the video yesterday, but I know some of you guys don't watch that. So we'll talk about Bitcoin dominance and altcoin season, when it's possibly going to be starting, what you can expect from Turbo. Now, look, this dump, it was going to be inevitable, right? It was going to be inevitable. Before we talk about the dump, let's just look at Turbo, some of the stats that we go over every single time. We can see that we are at 287 million market cap. We are at 160th in the world, and we have 62 million volume in the last 24 hours. Now, I haven't actually checked the holder count for, I think, almost a week now. We were over 55,200 from the last time I remember. But yeah, we had a little dip. We had a little dip, but that always happens with Turbo, right? Out of nowhere, we just get these little dips. And then, the holders start going up. And it's going to be inevitable. In a week or two, we're going to be smashing the holders every single time. That's just how it always is. So no concern. We're roughly the same where we were a week ago. No biggie. But now let's talk about the price, right? So I expect this price to take out these lows. We talked about this for weeks. Now, here's the thing, right? I'm not going to lie to you. This monthly candle looks awful. It really does. Right? We clearly very big loss of momentum. But here is the deal, ladies and gentlemen, and this is how you have to look at it. So we have a bottom, right? This is the bottom. This is the bottom of the red candle. Now we have the top of the green candle. So you'll see what I'm doing in just a second, right? Even though, this monthly candle is very bearish, it doesn't mean we are bearish overall. It just means, we have lost momentum and, we're about to close bearish on the month, which is fine because as long as we technically close above 0.0019, we are creating a staircase upwards, right? We are creating a staircase upwards. So even let's just say we do drop a little bit more, right? Then what we are looking at is something like this, where we go from the bottom, we have the top, which is here, then we have another bottom, and then we probably expect for Turbo to be pumping, right? We really do. And based off global liquidity, that should be happening. Next week should be some kind of quick recoveries. And look, people, I know this might be a little confusing, but it's very simple, right? You have a bottom, you have a top, and then now technically this is going to be a higher bottom. So that is bullish indication. That is. And I do expect the next month to be a higher high in terms of monthly candle closes, right? Just very key and basic fundamentals, what I expect. Now, the most fundamental retest would be going back to 0.0035. Now, I did say a couple of days ago that I'm almost certain that we are not going to hit this price point. In the event that I am wrong, I'm sorry, but you know what? That's a great time to dollar cost average, right? That is a great time to dollar cost average, just in case. In fact, if we do hit anywhere near this price of 0.0035, 3.5 area, I am gonna DCA extremely heavily into this coin, extremely. Because if anything, that means we are retesting, right? We are retesting off of this huge support, and we're also retesting going into this huge manipulation bank candle, right? This formation is a bank candle. And usually when you tap into it, it reverses the other way, right? And just even basic fundamentals on a higher time frame, we talked about how, this monthly candle would literally have to crash all the way somewhere down here, down here for it to even be considered bearish, right? And we can see this has happened in the past before with Turbo, where we have some momentum. The next monthly candle looks like it's just red, and then boom, big bang, right? Again, we lose some momentum, right? We're pumping, we lose some momentum. Next month is red, and guess what? The month after that is a huge bang. So the data, the data I am not too worried about. For me, this is all manipulation by the higher power. We talked about it on Bitcoin, how we expected this week to sell off. We expected Turbo to sell off. So, I am not surprised that, we are selling off. This is literally what we called. We talked about the 91-day thing before. If you guys don't know, global liquidity follows Turbo exactly perfectly. So we can see the last bottom 91 days out had their last red candle, right? We are currently right over here in terms of the blue line. And guess what? The bottom of this is right now. And guess what happens for the next couple of weeks up until mid-July, right? Because this is the top so far, right? If we take the top, we go out to 91 days. It says, mid-July, Monday 14th, July 2025, right? Look, it suggests that next week there's going to be very, very big pumps. And I would not be surprised, right? I would not be surprised. And look, we officially, I guess the weekly candle, we technically went below, but in terms of the daily, we still haven't. So, you know, I expect the daily to also get swept. Look, that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing crazy is happening too much. I overall expect great things from Turbo this cycle. I still think it is going to be one of the top meme coins, and I accidentally just added the indicator twice. But yeah, look, overall, we are still very, very bullish on the higher time frame. I expect this coin to do extremely well this cycle. Next stop is going to be taking out these highs, right? Taking out these highs, probably chillaxing for a little bit, right? If we actually remove the drawings, do it again, right? Boom. So we take out these lows over here, then we start bouncing up, probably consolidate for a little bit, and then just push up, right? We're looking for that 0.008 zone as the next zone before we kind of start losing momentum, because that's where a huge support and resistance is. And yeah, right? There's a chance that we also may smash above it. We may do something very, very similar to what we did last time, right? Where we had a last support resistance. And I'm talking about this over here, right? We thought, yes, we are going to climb over it, but did I think it was going to be that crazy? No, I didn't. I didn't think it was going to be that crazy, but it was, right? We smashed through it. Now we're retesting. So what might happen is we might smash through. We might even go to like 0.009, maybe even like 1 cent, and then we might cool off, retest off to 0.008, and then go up, right? That's all like hypothetical, of course. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because I know it is going to be inevitable. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye. Portfolio reviews, economic and global updates and news, frequent up-to-date technical analysis, and a very supportive community. Sell and buy calls and trading education is provided. If that sounds good to you, now is the time to act. Once the markets start moving, there is no I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Now is the time. If you want to take things to another level, we have the blueprint that covers everything from A to Z in crypto that you need. No fluff, no bullshit, just the most important news, fundamentals, and technicals to have you succeed in these markets.